It is meme coin season. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know now that meme coins outperform pretty much everything else in crypto right now. And one of the meme coins is doing the best, and that is Shrub. Have a look at this table. This is an overview of meme coins. And it's ordered by the performance in the last 7 days. Shrub is at number 1. And unfortunately, I did not buy. Even though I got a direct message from one of our premium members, I reacted too late to this. But have a look at this. This is Rafal. He messaged me about Shrub more than 1 week ago. And so the big question is, how much longer can this rally now last? We have seen quite a bit of a dip. Does it make sense to buy this dip? Let's have a look at the on-chain metrics most people aren't looking at. Now, there's actually quite a bit of a misconception. Most people think that the altcoins in general are currently doing pretty well, but that can't be further from the truth. Check this out. This is the others dominance. So this is how much market cap of all of crypto is currently in the altcoins that are not in the top 10. And this went down since beginning of the year by 28%. Really, the market is now segregating into 2 segments. On the one hand, we've got the Bitcoin investor that simply just wants to get exposure to crypto, that might want to diversify away from property and from stocks. And then on the other hand, there are the active traders, the people that are okay with the risk of crypto, but that also want to get the upside, the 10x, maybe the 100x upsides. And so that then explains why the best performing categories within crypto are all meme coin related, despite the overall altcoin market not doing that well. The middle is simply just shrinking. The DeFi protocols, the GameFi protocols, the infrastructure plays, they are all bleeding against Bitcoin. And so yes, I do believe that Bitcoin dominance is going to increase, but I also believe that the meme coin trading is likely going to continue. The question is, does it make sense then to buy Shrub? Now this is where we are right now. The price is at 14.7 cents, and after a massive rally, we have seen a correction of 43% roughly. Now here's a data point I always like to look at. I like to look at what is causing the current decline in the last 24 hours. And we can see this data very clearly on DEX Screener. We can see the number of buyers versus the number of sellers. And at the same time, we can see the buying volume versus the selling volume. Now what this here indicates is that since there are more buyers than sellers, and since the buying volume isn't as high, that it's the larger wallets that are currently selling and that it's small wallets that are buying in. In other words, there's probably still profit taking from this initial run. In the last 10 days, we still, after this crash, went up by more than 3,000%. And so to find out whether or not it makes sense to buy the Shrub token now, we can't just look at the website, right? The website is something everybody looks at. We want to get an edge in the market. We want to look at the data most people do not have access to. That's why we look deeper into the blockchain. Now, before we look at the analytics, I always like to make a first pre-check. And that is, are potentially the social analytics manipulated? So let's compare the numbers. On the X platform, formerly Twitter, we've got roughly 4,000 followers. On Telegram, we've got 6,000 members. And on Chain, we've got a bit over 7,000 holders. So all those numbers somewhat align. It makes sense. It's not like the Twitter account has 10 times the number of holders on Chain. So this seems to be all legitimate. Now let's go into the on-chain data. And there is a first surprise. What we see over here is the number of small retail investors versus the number of large whale investors. So the way this is segregated is by minimum holding thresholds. So the wallets on the left have at least 7,000 Shrub tokens. At the current price, that's roughly $1,000 worth of the token. For the chart in the middle, we've got 70,000 tokens. So that's now $10,000 worth of the token. On the right side, we've got $100,000 worth of the token. Now, of course, it does make sense that the price increase aligns with the number of holders, but there is something funny here, right? The number of retail investors roughly tripled in the last few days. The number of medium-sized retail investors roughly doubled. But check out the whales. The whales also increased in the first run, but they didn't move whatsoever in the second run. So what we see over here are all-time charts. This is when the token started trading. What we see over here are the exact same kind of thresholds, but only for the last month. And again, we can see very clearly quite a lot of growth by small investors, a bit less growth by medium-sized, and zero growth in the number of whale wallets. When did the second rally start? It was on the 10th of November. So let's look at the long-term logarithmic chart again. The 10th of November was over here. So what seems to have happened is that all wallet cohorts bought into this first rally, especially the whales. The second wave though, the second run up, was not supported by the whales. And they might be the ones that are currently taking profit. They might be the reason why we are down by more than 40%. Now we can see those two waves also very nicely in the following charts. On the left side, we see the number of buyers and sellers per day. On the right side, that's normalized to 100% per day. And so this was the initial token launch. This is when a lot of the whales bought in. And this is now when retail joined the party and when the whales tend to potentially offload. Now the ratio between buyers and sellers hasn't really changed that much. It slightly now skews more towards the buyers, which kind of makes sense, right? There is a buyer overhang, but not that much of a price increase because the sellers move more capital than the buyers do. Now, I always like to look at the number of new users as well, at the number of new users versus recurring users for a specific token, because if more people adopt a token, then the whales are unlikely going to sell as well. The price action is dictated by the whales, but they definitely follow what retail is doing as well. If retail continues to buy, they keep on holding. Now, on the left side, we see the number of new users over time. We've got our first rally on the 3rd of November, and then we've got our build up by retail. Now, the problem is that that build up seems to be slowing down a bit. So on the 15th and on the 16th, we have seen less buyers. We can also see that on those 2 days, the number of returning users outpaced the number of new users. On the day with a lot of new adoption, on that 14th of November, we almost saw a flippening happening, as in more new users than returning users trading the token on a day. Now, not everything is bad for the Shrub token, because even though the whales tend to not buy anymore and the retail demand is somewhat slowing down, there is still quite a bit of upside. Because have a look at this table. This is the trending tokens on the Ethereum chain ordered by liquidity. And we can't find Shrub that quickly. We have to scroll quite a bit down to find it. It's at place number 32. It's got a liquidity of 2.6 million. So we could easily do another 2x, 3x, maybe even 4x. And we would then be at levels of liquidity similar to SPX or Memecoin or Wojak. Now, the art in crypto is to be early, right? To not be the exit liquidity of others. It's to find tokens before they trend. And we all know how the meme coins are now the most trending category. For example, over here, the Pump Fun ecosystem. This is the launchpad of meme coins on Solana. Over here, we've got the Peanut token, which went up by 1,700% and is now at a market cap of 1.6 billion. The upside potential for a token at 1.6 billion is of course not the same compared to when it's just at 100 million. How was I able to publish a video on Peanut that early? So that was more than 10 days ago, and initially nobody was interested. Only after the price rallied, people watched the video. At the time, we were still at 11 cents. And now, even after the recent correction, we are still at $1.70. The answer to those questions is wallet tracking. I like to track other influencers. I like to track other top traders. I like to track people that move markets. And the nice thing about the blockchain is that transactions are transparent. When you know who owns what wallet, you also know who buys and sells what at what time. For example, check out this alert. Crypto Banter bought the Peanut token at only 3 cents. So that was over here. Since then, the price went up by more than 5,000%. Now, who's Crypto Banter? Crypto Banter is one of the largest crypto channels in all of YouTube. So here's the page. Crypto Banter has 1.1 million subscribers. When they talk about a token, of course, the token goes up. And the alpha in all of this is to actually find those wallets. That's the hard part. And so we are tracking 33 of Crypto Banter's wallets. And so this is, I believe, a way better strategy than to simply just pick random meme coins in a list. It's to actually follow the people that tended to make the right calls in the past. It's to follow the insiders. It's to follow the people that actually move markets. I believe in the strategy that much that I've made a dedicated tutorial section just on that topic. So here are 8 videos on how to find influencer wallets, how to track influencer wallets, and how to then interpret the signals that we get from the tracking. Now, this is all part of Premium. Premium is not just about wallet tracking. It's also about on-chain analytics, right? The charts that we looked at the beginning of this video. It's also about risk mitigation. It's also about backtesting. There's more than 100 tutorial videos in total for Premium. Now, once we've got a wallet signal, we also need to discuss when to buy, when to sell. That's why there are dedicated altcoin chats on the individual altcoins in Premium as well. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, in case you don't make money, just message me within the first week and I will refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. And so does it still make sense to buy Shrub? Yes, there is some upside potential, but on the other hand, I also see a lot of whales that are currently dumping and I don't know how much longer they will dump. If we see again another wave of retail investors, they probably continue to take profit. I think there are better, more natural rallies out there that don't have that much whale ownership. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish you regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. Helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in premium. Cheers.